Did people in the earlier decades look older? Is it because people were tougher back then and we just have it easier? Is retrospective aging real or just an illusion? Both, actually. This generation is aging slower due to the changes in lifestyle, better health care, nutrition, smoking habits, skincare like sunblocks. We are staying younger longer. A study in the late 90s shows that 60 became the new 56, 40 became 37 and a half, and 20 became 19. Aging is also about perspective. If you were to compare a yearbook from the 70s to the 90s, you could clearly see the difference. But if you took those photos from the 70s and gave them a modern hairstyle and makeup, you could drop years off their look. This makes aging look like an illusion. Fashions, hairstyles, accessories, makeup, expression, and body language change our perception of a person. Fashions do come back around, but they're never the same. They're always a bit different. But did we have a choice? Our actions, mannerisms, and speech all stem from our childhood, whether it's because it was cool at the time, or society pushed it on us, or it was something that was considered the norm. We may not even have realized our options. Few of us stay at the stream always catching something new. This could be because we settle into ourselves or because of the fear of being taboo from not dressing our age. Even though we aren't at the stream anymore, the stream keeps changing and we get older, but keep the same mannerisms we took from a while back. Take this teacher, for instance, who wore the same outfit for the yearbook picture every year. We look at this, and as he gets older, so does the style. It's both real and an illusion, aging, based on perspective. Now let's take the opposite of that. What if you dressed in the freshest new style compared to all your peers? Would that be considered a futuristic style? Yes, and it happened in 1941 at the reopening of the South Fort Bridge in Canada. A crowd of people came out to celebrate and photos were taken of the crowd. In 2010, the photos were digitized and put online, which prompted people to notice this man who was dressed differently, and it started a whole conspiracy theory that this man was a time traveler. Research was done on the undoctored photo, and they realized this man was not a time traveler. His shirt was not a screen print, but rather bore the logo of a local hockey team. The sunglasses and knit sweater he was wearing was also not unusual for the 40s. Neither was the camera. The only thing that was unusual was how casual his attire was. Our faces also give off different perspectives. The face shape conjures in our mind some kind of name to go with it. In this photo, two men are pictured. Almost anonymously, people chose the left man to be Tim and the man on the right to be Bob. Just because we associate different names and certain sounds with certain shapes does not mean that we are right. I mean, how can parents with a baby still in the womb pick a name matching the face shape when they don't even know what the baby will look like? Impossible, right? Well, not really. Take this picture, for example. You should be able to get this guy's name right. 40% of people in the study picked correctly. Can names make us grow to look a certain way? Apparently, they can. Our appearance can come to reflect the name we were given. Why? A name can cause people to have certain expectations of them and treat them accordingly. The expectation that the name carries with it may cause a person to change or hide things about their appearance that doesn't go with their name. It's been found that people with the name and face that match are more liked than people with faces and names that don't. Usually parents will pick their child's name according to what they look like without even realizing they're doing it. If the parents get it wrong, people can also choose to change their names or use a nickname as they get older. Because people can change what people call them, this helps with the face name matching effect. How does this relate to the paranormal, you're asking? It's all in the individual person's perceptions, the way they grew up, and what society considers the norm at the time that made the most impact on the individual's life. Let's take the great black and white dream epidemic of the 20th century. As an example, prior to the 1900s, everyone who wrote about the topic said that dreams were in color. But as we moved into the 20th century, people who reported color in their dreams dropped, just as the popularity of black and white movies and TV rose. By the 60s, when shows and movies started to become colorized, dreams in color were reported to start going back up. Today, people who grew up with black and white TVs continue to report dreaming in black and white, more than people that didn't. Did black and white TV literally change our dreams? Well, it's not clear whether dreams themselves changed or the people just started thinking differently about them. Scientists compare dreaming to reading. Is a novel in color or black and white? As you read a story, what do you see in your mind? We may just have a terrible grip on dreams. Movies, TV shows might have given us a false illusion and a wrong understanding of our dreams. According to research, dreams and TV really have nothing in common except that they are both made up of phantoms. A person in an image is frozen in time but still seems to age. Our own image can depend on our name, and it's the closest thing we have when we're away dreaming. Let's take a paranormal example of perception. I worked on a paranormal reality show, but what I saw off camera really terrified me. We've all been there, you're channel surfing on a lazy Saturday afternoon when suddenly you land upon a green night vision scene showcasing a group of ghost hunters. But what, if anything, is real and what's just hocus pocus? Well, after booking a gig on one of those paranormal reality TV shows, I got my answer. I was really stoked about getting the gig. I've been a long-time fan of these types of shows. Growing up, my grandma raised me on a healthy dose of unsolved mysteries and midnight radio. While the validity of what happens on some of these shows is somewhat questionable, to say the least, they are undeniably entertaining. Though I was excited to book my role, when it comes to spirits, I consider myself a skeptical believer, as open as I am to the realm of the supernatural and what may lie on the other side. I'm a very grounded person in my beliefs. I'm never going to hear a creaking floorboard and immediately jump to the conclusion that it was caused by Casper and his buddies. I want to see convincing evidence. On the day of the shoot, I drove up to where the show was filming in upstate New York. I thought I was headed to like a stand-in haunted house or a TV set, but my GPS directed me down a long gravel driveway flanked with overgrown cattails. When I laid eyes on the eerie two-storied farmhouse, I thought to myself, wow, what a brilliant production design. But little did I know, this was no set. We were filming the reenactment segment at the actual house being featured on the show. As I waited around for my part to be shot, The owners of the property told me that several children supposedly passed away on the property after experiencing various accidents. As if that was not dark enough, an expectant mother reportedly hung herself from the tree in the front yard, and an alleged serial killer is said to have once resided in the home. On top of that, nearly a dozen bodies have been unearthed in the backyard alone. However, it's unknown exactly how many souls claim the surrounding swampland as their final resting place. The owners also talked about how they've seen unexplained shadows, heard disembodied voices, and even growls. They claim an angry spirit who lives on the second floor of the house has also made his presence abundantly clear. The family's priest, who was present during filming day, recalled the time an unseen force assaulted him on the stairs inside the house and left scratches on his arm. The priest claimed that since you are in the actual house where all these things happen, that in order to avoid a spirit following you off the premises, you simply had to speak out loud something along the lines of, "If there's anything following me, you're not welcome. Go away. You must stay here." Since my scenes weren't until after lunch, I wandered outside and decided to explore the barn that was adjacent to the house. I entered the structure and started looking around, when all of a sudden I heard what sounded like someone walking on the tin roof of the barn. I rushed outside to see if there was anyone on the roof, but I didn't see anyone or anything. It would have been impossible to climb on top of the roof without a ladder, and there wasn't one around. And besides, everyone else was in the house shooting the scenes. I was spooked, but I said to myself I probably really didn't hear footsteps. I returned to the production tent, and the homeowners joined me, and not long after they showed me their spirit box, a piece of ghost hunting equipment that looks similar to a radio. The spirit box supposedly picks up frequencies that cannot be heard by the human ear and makes them audible. And some researchers claim it allows them to communicate with the dead. The homeowners turned on the box and proceeded to ask the spirits questions. Almost immediately, there was a robotic voice that replied. They asked if there was any spirits present. A voice replied, yes. Then they asked, where is the entity located? And the box said, the barn. My heart immediately skipped a beat. The homeowner said that the spirit in the barn is friendly. They call him the Tin Man, and he's frequently heard walking on the barn's tin roof. My jaw dropped. Did the footsteps that I had heard belong to the Tin Man? There was no way to be sure, but I decided to keep it to myself. But before I can completely process everything, the director told me it was time to get into my costume. I didn't know much about my role or what I'd be doing. I'd only been told that I will be playing a menacing-looking spirit for the reenactment segments. I returned to the production tent in full costume. The homeowner saw my fedora and immediately knew. Oh, you're playing him? Him? I asked reluctantly. They told me about the spirit of the man who supposedly occupies the top floor of the house. They claim he is by far the darkest spirit that resides in the house, and they believed him to be the one who attacked the priest on the stairs. Just then, everybody started filtering out. It was time for lunch, and after lunch, it would be time for my scene. As we were sitting on the bench outside eating, something caught my eye on the second story of the house. I suddenly noticed a curtain in the window begin to move, as if someone was slowly peeling it back. I immediately thought it was unusual because as far as I knew, no one was upstairs, and it was a particularly hot summer day with no breeze. Another crew member noticed it too, and she asked if anyone was there or if there was a fan running, but they said all the fans were shut off and no one was in the house. Before anyone could say another word, the curtain pulled back once again and a ghoulish face stared directly at us. "There he is," the homeowner exclaimed so matter-of-factly. She lived in the house her whole life, so she grew up with all sorts of activity. It was almost common to her. The curtain dropped back into place and he was gone as soon as he appeared. I couldn't believe what I had just witnessed. Did I just see a spirit? I immediately tried to find a way to explain away what I had just seen. However, the homeowner seemed almost excited that he decided to make a quick cameo. I knew that I was filming some of my scenes in the house, and after hearing all the stories and having experienced what I just did, I really didn't want to go inside, but I had already signed a contract. We spent what seemed like hours upstairs filming only one scene. Needless to say, I was happy when we finished filming and I could leave that room. The director called that a wrap, and I immediately hopped into my car and was getting ready to leave when I remembered the priest's advice. And I said out loud, "If there's anything following me home, you're not welcome." As I pulled away from the property, I wasn't convinced it would do anything or that there was even anything that needed to be done, but I definitely didn't want to take any chances. Driving home, as it was getting later, I found myself continuously checking my rearview mirror to ensure that there was nothing or no one in my back seat. My mind raced as I replayed what happened in the barn and what I saw in that second floor window, and I was legitimately spooked by what I experienced that day. You may think my experience would deter me from considering any more paranormal adventures, but if anything, that day only fueled my curiosity about the supernatural. As freaked out as I was, I'm now equally, if not more, intrigued. Before getting that gig, I always wondered if the haunted houses in those reality shows were actually real. What I've learned is that experience truly can shape perspective. Was it the environment I interacted with and the stories I was told while filming that caused me to hear and see certain things? Maybe. But after that day, I believe what I experienced cannot be easily debunked. Thank you for watching. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing, and we'll see you on the next one.